welcome to the New Leaf podcast. My name is Carmen, and this is a podcast about knitting, crocheting, behind the scenes stuff of designing. I'm not a full-time crochet and knitwear designer yet, although I hope to be someday. And I have some really fun things to talk about with you today. I actually have some finished objects to show you, although I finished those about half a year ago. Yeah, more on that later. First, I wanted to talk some more about things I already talked about in the last episode. I talked about maybe doing a video on all of my works in progress, and I'm pretty determined to do that now, simply because it will give me a lot of motivation, I hope, to finish all of those projects or frog it to make something else. And I need to get, writing a list of works in progress so that I don't forget any, because there are a lot, and a lot. I don't have any time this weekend to film that, but maybe in the next coming weeks. And I wanted to talk some more about my cast on conundrum I had last week. I am going to eventually knit a cardigan out of some wonderful yarn I bought from Chestnut Cabin, which is a Dutch indie dyer. She's not Dutch from origin, but she lives in the Netherlands now, so. And I had found 3 cardigan patterns, which I already talked about last week. The Hitofure cardigan, Ivy line cardigan, and the trellis cardigan. And each had their own positive and negative things, of course. I've decided to not knit the trellis cardigan, so that one is out, because it just was too much stockinette, and I don't know, it just I didn't feel it. So now I only have to choose between 2, which is the Hitofure cardigan and the Ivy line. And lots of people have told me that they have knit either one and that they were very happy with the result. So now I know that, both would probably turn out great. It's just I have to pick which one would be my fave, and now I'm leaning towards the Ivy line cardigan because I really like that it's not all lace, because I think if it would be more stockinette, just a little bit more, the Ivy line is actually just in between the trellis and the Hitofure, so I think that's a happy middle, or don't know how you call that, but it's a good medium, and I think it will be more wearable that way. If it's too much lace, it might only be for fancy occasions, and I kind of just want an everyday cardigan. So I'm thinking to go with Ivy line cardigan, but as I mentioned last time, I have to finish 2 more things before I get to cast on another thing, which is a rule I have already broken this week. But I know you don't want to hear excuses, but I do have a really good one. So I'll be also talking more about that later. And although I'm probably not gonna make the Hitofure, which is a design by Hiroku, I have to look up the name, Hiroku Fukatsu. Although I'm probably not gonna knit that one, I did browse through her designs, and she has some amazing designs. And then I clicked on a design, and then I clicked on the project pages, and I just fell into a huge Ravelry rabbit hole where I climbed out, a few hours later. I'm pretty sure you've all had that moment where you've just been browsing projects, and a few hours later you think, I could have spent that time knitting that project, but anyway, she has some beautiful designs, and one was a shawl called Frida for a booklet by Brooklyn Tweed. I think it was Wool People, Volume 5. I'll insert a picture of the shawl here. And as you can see, it is just beautiful. It has this boho style with this sort of kind of loop fringes all over the shawl, and I just think it's beautiful. So I have to knit that. I just have to. I don't know when, I don't know in what color or what yarn, but I have to knit that once. Yeah, so I fell into a huge Ravelry rabbit hole. Yeah, but it was fun. And quite frankly, I needed some distraction this week as it has been super busy at work. Yeah, super busy. And I think I have been working 45 hours this week, which is insane for me. Because, you know, I get home and then I continue working on my design stuff. So I'm basically working 2 full-time jobs. Yeah, but it might all be worth it. Well, I'm sure it's all worth it if I, you know, get a full-time designing job, or, you know, self-employed designer out of it at the end. Yeah, goals, people, goals. So I'm actually gonna show you some knitting now. Although I haven't done much this week since, you know, I've been working a lot, and in the time that I was home I was working a lot on designing, and not the knitting part but the math and pattern writing part, I mean. So it's not fun, but it's part of it and I need to do it. So, but I have done something, so let me show you. I have been working on my simple toe-up sock guide. I'm knitting the socks concurrently. I will explain why later. This is the first sock. As you can see, I have done a dark green contrasting toe, and the body of the sock is made in this kind of variegated yarn, and there's a stitch pattern with mostly stockinette but some purl stitches in between. Let me show you the other side first. So this is the normal stockinette back for the sole. And then the other side, I hope you can see it. It just has a slight texture. And it's purl stitches every other rows and every few stitches. But it just creates some interest, and I think it's really nice. And the second one, I'm knitting these on circular needles, and it's the same texture pattern on the front and a stockinette back. And then for the leg, I will have the whole leg covered in these textured stitches. So the reason why I'm knitting these concurrently is that I've filmed the instruction videos for the toe, although I've done it with a different yarn, because the dark green doesn't really show up. And I might get into trouble for that later, since I'm doing the heel in dark green as well. And I want to, of course, do instruction videos for that. So I hope I hope that it will be visible. But since I'm filming the instructions for DPNs and for circular needles, I want to get them both at the same point and then, you know, film them both. So that's why I'm doing these concurrently, which means just doing one bit on the other and then doing the same bit on the other. And the yarn I'm using is Scheepjes Invicta Extra. Here's the ball band. It still has their old logo. It's one of their older ranges. But it is 50, no, I keep messing this up, 75% wool and 25% nylon, and it can be washed at 30 degrees in the washing machine, in the washing machine. Yeah, and really happy with how these socks are turning out. And I hope to get some more knitting done next week. The other thing that I have done is that I'm preparing for the craft fair now, which is tomorrow, Sunday the 7th of May. I'll be going to a craft fair in the Netherlands in Kerkrade. That's the southernmost point of the Netherlands, and I have been blogging for the event, and as a reward they have given me a booth at the fair where I'll be having this kind of make and take. I'll have free patterns, and I have some yarns lying around they can crochet with, and I'll also be selling my bird in a box DIY kits, so that's really exciting. And I figured I need something to make at the craft fair which is not very which is pretty mindless and which is not a secret project, so that kind of narrows it down in my whip basket. So I started to do something new. I figured I might as well crochet something with the pattern I'll be handing out, and that is this crochet flower pattern. It's a square. So it's a square, and it has this flower in the center. And if you're not a chart reader, this might not be very clear, so I'm gonna go and get a crocheted sample of this. So the flower crochet pattern looks like this. I'm gonna hold the pattern to the side of it so you can see. Do you see it matches? Anyway, so this is the filet flower square, and it's also available on my blog as a free pattern. So filet flower square, and I've used it to make this crochet bag last summer. And as you can see, the front, it's made up of 9 squares, and it has a nice flap with some overlay crochet, some bobbles, lots of things. And the back is plain double crochets, US double crochets, and then the side panel also uses overlay crochet. And then the strap also uses some kind of filet crochet. All of these parts, so the whole bag, can be found as a free pattern on my blog. I forgot to tell you what my blog is called. It's craftyqueens.nl, and this bag is called either Spring Katona bag or Fleur de Lis bag. Fleur de Lis is lily flower, and I thought that's what this looks like. Kind of looks like the French lily symbol. So yeah, so that's a story about the crochet square. And I'm doing a larger project with that. I've only just started last night. And I'm crocheting it with, I love this color, with a cake of my unraveled yarn, which I got from an H&M sweater. I have a few more cakes like this. You might remember the yarn tower I had in my screen a few episodes ago. That's this yarn. Oops, it's rolling all over the place. And I wanted to do some kind of a blanket or tablecloth with it, so that for future craft fairs I might be able to put it across the table. And it's so big, right? The crochet square. So this is, it's not finished yet, as you can see. But if we hold them together in comparison, yeah, so these are quite large, and the whole width is only 5 motifs. Yeah, only 5. So I started this last night, and as you can see, I did a slight modification. So I'm not making the squares by themselves, I'm making them all together, and I'm just adding a chain stitch in between them. Yeah, it's really fun. And I'm using this gorgeous Addy hook, and it's sparkling. So it's a very sparkly Addy hook. It's a size 8mm needle. Where did the sun go? And I'm looking forward to making some more progress on this today, although I might not have time for that since I do have to make some more boxes, and yeah, I have to write some blogs. But anyway, I'll be working on this tomorrow in any case, and it's been really fun. So the reason why I started something new is that I wanted something nice and simple and relevant to crochet at the fair, and it has been such a busy and overwhelming week that I thought I'd treat myself to a new cast on again. Yeah, so but I'll be good in the next couple of weeks. And to be fair, I actually do have 2 FOs, as I mentioned. So let me show you what the FOs are about. I got this very exciting magazine in the mail. It's the Scheepjes Yarn, issue number 3, the tropical issue. It's available in Dutch and in English. And it's just beautiful. The cover is even so beautiful. And I love that it's matte paper. So it has the pictures of the finished objects in the first half and then the patterns in the second half, and it also has some other articles. This one is about scissors, and there are some others. In each issue there's a featured designer, which is one of us Scheepjes bloggers, and this time it's Krista, which you'll maybe know from the Curio Crafts Room on Instagram. And she crochets beautiful things. She loves peacock colors and just, you know, peacock feathers. It's beautiful. And the featured designer also designs an extra square. and it's a beautiful issue. And I have 2 designs in this issue. I'm very excited because I had one design in the first issue, then the second issue I had to skip because I had just too much work, and I decided to do something nice for the 3rd issue. So let me show you. The first one is called the greenhouse top. I'm so proud of this one. It's, well, I have a finished object here so I can show you, but I just think the photography is stunning. Really stunning. It's this lacy crochet top, and they wanted me to be kind of inspired by pineapple lace crochet, so kind of gave it my own twist. And the other one is called the hummingbird cardigan, and it's a sleeveless cardigan, and it's basically a bikini cover-up, and it's very long. They wanted me to make it kind of kimono style, well, without the sleeves. So is it actually kimono? I don't know. But it's very long, it's made of motifs, and it has fringes around the bottom. And I just love the colors. And of course, there are some beautiful other designs in here by all of my friends, and it's just so cool to have something like this, and to know every designer that's in here, and it's just so happy with this, so happy. My favorite might be Nerissa's shawl. It's the same one here. I just love that one. Love it. And Nerissa from Miss Neris, she told me that she is wearing it every day. It's such a wearable item. And I think I will get a lot of wear out of mine too. So here's the greenhouse top. And as you can see, it's quite lacy, so you have to wear something underneath. But I think I'll wear it a lot on my summer holiday, which is coming up. I'll be going to Bali in a few weeks. Yeah, just a few weeks now. I'll be going in June, and I think I'll be wearing this a lot. And the front and back is the same. As you can see, kind of, you can see through it. Yeah, I just really love this, and it was really easy to make. So if you get the chance to get your hands on one of the copies, I would really. It's kind of weird to recommend your own pattern, isn't it? But I feel kind of weird now. But the pattern is actually, it's a lot of text, but it's basically the same repeat with a different number of chain stitches in between for the middle. So it's basically the same techniques over and over, but because it's such a huge amount of text, it might scare people off a little bit, and that's kind of what I want to keep in mind for next time, to maybe not have different stitch counts, so that, you know, I can condense the pattern a little bit more. I think I scared the tech editor a little bit too. It was several pages, so anyway, so don't be put off by the length of the pattern. And as for the other one, I'm not going to be able to show you this since it's huge. But here is the hummingbird cardigan. I'll show you the back panel. And I am just in love with this motif and these flowers and these colors. And I especially love what picots can do to a motif. See these here? These simple things. They can do so much. And I just love that. And this one is made with Scapious Sunkissed. It's a tonal cotton, not mercerized, so it doesn't have a sheen to it, so I think that's very nice. What this is, they asked me to, you know, make it for their models. I just assumed that the models would be very tall, because, you know, usually they are. And I'm very short, and I tried this on, and it, you know, the fringes just reached the floor for me, so I thought it would be perfect for the models. But they seem to you know, hire shorter models. They said it was trailing across the floor for all of them. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna be altering the cardigan so that I can actually wear it. I might take a few squares off. A friend of mine said I could also turn it into a blanket, but that would mean, you know, I would have to alter it completely, and I do kind of want to keep it as similar to the pattern as possible, so that I can have you know, kind of a sample of the pattern. I just love it. I love all the colors, they made me happy. And I mentioned wanting to do the work in progress video where I talk about all of my whips, and actually here I have one of them which I'm determined to frog, which is so sad because I've made quite a bit of progress and it's such lovely yarn, but I won't be able to use the yarn in its full potential with this pattern. So it's my own pattern, it's my own design. It has not been published yet, and I wanted to make a wrap, but the thing is, when I cast this on, you know, it's about this wide, or I think even wider, but when I was crocheting it, it just kept getting more cinched in, you know. It lost its stretch a little bit. So it's more like scarf width than a wrap. And while it would still be beautiful, I'm at, you know, I have some rows to go, but it would be a good sharp scarf length already. But I have about 70–80% of the yarn still here. So I thought that would be a shame. And so I'm gonna frog this and, I don't know, triple the width of it, and then just make a beautiful wrap. I can't wait to do that. And I'm gonna make a start on it before I leave on my holiday, and then just work on this in the plane and on the beach and wherever. And you can see the very gradual gradient yarn. And it's just such a beautiful yarn. I love it so much. So this is Scapious Whirl, and this is called Blueberry Bam Bam, I think. Blueberry. And I've been working from the center, but as you see, the yarn is very, you know, it closes up again. Although I have made, you know, this is already what I have. And it all came from the center and now it's closed up again. It's like, you know, one of my friends was using this and she said, sometimes I just feel like there's more yarn growing at the other end. It's just never ending. Which is great because you can just crochet on and on and on, and you know, you can really get into the flow. And this was also really a pattern that I was very pleased with, because I did not want to put it down, and it was a combination of excitement of a new color and the easiness, the ease. I know the pattern is very easy to remember. The first row is a bit more difficult, but then after the second row it gets really mindless, and I am really proud of myself for having created a pattern like that I just want to crochet and crochet and crochet. So and I want to get this pattern out in the world, so I have to rip it back and start over. But I'm thinking how to frog it, since I can't really, you know, sometimes or usually I frog and I just wind it along the outside, but now I've started from the inside, so I just don't know how I will wind it. Yeah, so we'll see about that. Might have to do some magic there. So this is one of the works in progress that I'll be frogging, and the rest I'll be showing you in the video whenever I get whenever I gather the courage to film that. Yeah, but today I won't be doing any of those things. Today I will be preparing for the craft fair that is tomorrow, as I told you. I have a lot of things to do, just making sure everything is right. I noticed an error in the pattern, or not an error, but a thing, just a line of the pattern I left out, which is not very fortunate. So for the boxes I've already made, it's just, you know, one line, so I thought to just manually write them on the pattern, since I don't have a printer at home. And yeah, just I didn't want to waste all the copies I've already printed, since it's in full color, and I don't want to waste that much. Yeah, so I might just add a few notes. Yeah, so I'm gonna look into how to do that. I'm gathering all the things I need to bring tomorrow, such as my whip and the cards with the patterns, and some more of my birdies, because I'm thinking to also sell the ready-made birds, but it's kind of late for me to have decided that, so I only have a few now. Yeah, but we'll see, and my mother will come with me, so it will be a fun day anyway, and it will be amazing weather, so I'm really looking forward to it. And I'll be sharing more on that next week. Yeah, so that was all I had to share with you today. I hope you have a very crafty week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!